So the point I'm trying to give here is there's a circular relationship in anything social, because as we come up with new theories and as we come up with factual evidence and then we apply it in a practical sense, we change our behavior. And that to me basically says that investing will always be an art, not a science, and it's based on judgment, and you're never going to find rules. And you always have to assess the practical implications of what your strategy is. So now I'm going to speak about an alternative, you know, something that I've seen last, well, basically everything that I've looked at, you know, in terms of history and investing. And that's a little bit of Buffett's strategy, you know, what's been coined Buffettology right now. And it's something I think that all of you guys will relate to because it's simple and it's practical. Buffett views the world in terms of value. You know, he basically says that the most important element of investing is value, because no matter what price is, there's always going to be something more fundamental, something that you can weigh in salt or gold about an asset, something intrinsic, something based on cash flows. And if you think about how human beings react at our points of highs and lows in terms of emotions, we swing prices left and right. You know, in 2007, 2008, prices went down 50%. 2009, they went up 50%. I'm just being approximate for an example. How can that actually be because of fundamental value? It has to be because of emotion. The world in a fundamental sense didn't change by 50% over 2 years. That just makes absolutely no sense. So if you sit back and you look over the last few decades, at least twice a decade, you've seen massive swings as a result of this financial meltdown or that financial meltdown. And I'm going to pose a theory on risk management, right? If you look at the lows of 2008, early in the year, prices on average were like, let's say, 10 times annual profit. And right now, they're about 20 times annual profit. So what do you think is a better risk mitigating strategy? Buying at a price that's like 10 times annual profit, where your downside is very limited, or buying at a price that's 20 times annual profit and you can diversify your portfolio completely? And this is where the value element comes into play, because I've seen, you know, I don't want to call firms, but I've seen a lot of advertising in the newspaper saying the stock market's doing really well, and, you know, brick has risen by 60, 70%, the US has risen by whatever. Let's all get involved. But you have to question, as prices rise more and more, what happens to your value proposition? You know, and then think about the cyclical nature of these things. So I'm saying it happens all the time over and over again. And so the advice that I'm giving you guys is don't necessarily, I'm not saying that there aren't opportunities, because there are a lot of different asset classes, there are a lot of different products. But always consider your value proposition in the sense that when things go up, your value proposition is getting worse. And you have to be brave enough to go in there when things are falling, when prices are low, because you know that your downside is capped. And all of the conventional wisdom about diversification has basically failed. The last thing I'm really going to speak about is a little bit about incentives, because I think, you know, those two things are kind of strategic, but incentives are really what we as a people could buy into, or regulators or policymakers, that can have a massive impact. If you look at the business model of firms, there's always like a key economic denominator that people use to increase profit. Two of my favorites, Gillette, their business model is designed on profit per customer instead of profit per product. And what they did is they changed their business model from disposable blades to disposable razors to disposable blades. If you look at Circuit City, what they did is they looked at profit per region instead of profit per store, and they capitalized on economies of scale. Now, if you look at financial services firms, you realize that their revenue comes from 3 places, and they all have no downside, only upside. The first is a sort of fee from the amount of funds they have under management. The second is a sort of commission-based fee for what they distribute. And the third is an upside for high-performing products. Now, if you look at the key economic denominator for a business model of that sort, you realize that that's really just about sales. And then you wonder, why is it that the financial world only thinks in terms of upside? You know, and the financial world isn't something that's entrepreneurially led. It's mostly institutions with employees that don't really have a long-term horizon and don't really have brand loyalty in the sense of entrepreneurs. So if they get a chance to abuse a system, make a couple million and cash out, why not? You know, that's how they think. And we're not going to sit here and wait for human nature to change, you know, and expect that human beings are going to become moral icons, because that's just not practical. So the financial world right now, in terms of their business model, to me is akin to telling someone, basically, go and play roulette, and if you could convince a dealer to basically spin the wheel over and over, you only have upside. What are they going to do? They're going to take advantage, and they're basically going to take unlimited risk. And it happens over and over and over and over, you know, and we need to start thinking differently. I think the only way you're going to solve this problem is with balance. You're going to have to balance risk and return, and you're going to have to find some way of aligning incentives by having financial firms share in losses. Otherwise, they're never going to see your perspective, and they're never really going to sit in your shoes. So I think that's kind of it for the hard stuff tonight. But I mean, I want to tell you guys some more soft stuff about Involve that matters a lot to us, and matters a lot more than the hard stuff, to be completely honest. Why is it that we're speaking so openly? Why is it that I'm telling you all of the advantages we could take advantage of in a financial sense? It's because, to be frank, my motivation in this is on money. You know, I mean, I'm doing okay, you know, and what I really want to see what I really want to see come out of this is I want to see a collaborative environment. I want to see people start sharing, people start realizing that the world's pretty big, and Trinidad doesn't have to be a competition. You know, I definitely think you have a group of patriots here. I can tell you that for sure. And to us, this is so much more than material success. It really is about contribution. I'm going to leave you with one story that my little brother told me when he was 13 years old. He was asking me on a vacation if I remember the words under the coat of arms. And I was like, yeah, together we aspire, together we achieve. And he asked me if I think that people still believe in that. And I told him, you know what? I don't know, but I'm sure as hell going to find out. That's what Involve is about. It's simple. It's about bringing people together. It's about finding profitable opportunities, but bringing people together through collaboration and sharing education. It's really that simple.